Hello everybody and welcome to Absurd Hypotheticals, the show where we overthink dumb questions so you don't have to. I'm your host Marcus Lehner, and I'm joined here today by Chris Yee and Ben Storms. Say hi, guys.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris.
Hey, I'm Ben.
Hey Ben, you taught me about something this week, and I hate you for it, but
Yeah.
Can you share?
So over the weekend, I guess, over the weekend, I actually learned through the excellent webcomic Dinosaur Comics about a thing called Aphantasia. Which, so let me just ask you a question really quickly, Chris, because I know you are not aware of this yet.
Yeah, you like teased this before we started recording. You're like, there's this topic. Marcus is mad about it. I'm excited about it.
So if I tell you to like close your eyes and picture a sunset, do you actually see a sunset when you do that?
Yeah.
So I don't. And apparently about 5% of people don't.
Wait, what?
And Marcus and I are both one of those.
Wait, Marcus is too?
Yes, Marcus is as well.
I'm kind of like borderline, so I'm like definitely like 85% of the way there. Like every once in a while I'll get like a flicker of an image, but I can't like hold an image of like a sunset.
So what happens when you try to imagine it?
Just sheer fucking blackness, dude. Nothing else.
I mean, like the word is imagine. It has image in it.
Right. Well, no. So this is the thing. So here's the like, when I learned about this, it was like 11:30 Friday night, and I was about to go to sleep because I'm lame. And I realized, like, I found out about this, and I literally spent the next, like, hour researching it because it was just blowing my mind. Because, like, when people said, picture this, and said something, I thought that was just, like, an expression. I thought it was just, like, think about something real hard. Like, I didn't realize that you motherfuckers could actually see shit when you did that.
So, like, even if you try, you, like, can't do it.
I got nothing.
Yeah, so Chris, do you, like, see, like, a color picture? Like...
Yeah. Like, can you see, like, if I say red, can you, like, imagine red? Can you
if you say,
see
look,
it?
imagine a red triangle, I don't see anything.
Yeah, I can't get, like, nothing, like, clear,
What?
like, an actual image.
I don't understand how that's not...
The fun thing is, yeah, like, so apparently it's approximately 5% of people have this, and they have no idea, and no one else has any idea, because, like, why would you think otherwise? Like, how would you ever know?
And how is 5% of that 2/3 of our show?
Yeah, that was just sort of a nice little freak coincidence, but...
Yeah, we're engineers, we can do that math. Boop, 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 boop,
Yeah.
boop, boop. I don't know.
it was really fun when I posted a thing on Facebook about it, and a lot of reactions were like, oh, wow, that's crazy, it's really, really cool. And then Marcus's was just in all caps, what?
See, like, I wonder, because, like, I sometimes get, like, an impression of an image, like, I can't see it, but, like, I could get, like, if I imagine, like, a landscape that I've seen before, I have, like, a vague idea that there would be, like, shapes here, here, and here, but I can't see it. I can't make an image.
It's like, you know the things that would be there, and kind of where they would be in relation to each other, and it's like, well, that's good enough.
I guess it's sort of like the extreme version of that would be like a photogenic memory, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's where it's funny because like I was actually talking to someone. I was laughing about how like when I was younger, I always thought it'd be so cool to have a photographic memory, and now I realized that just like my regular memory was already like half-assing it this whole time. So now I'm just like even more like, you know, I would take just a standard functioning memory at this point.
Yeah, because I never understood how photographic memory worked, or I couldn't really imagine it because I'm just like, do you just have, like, a fucking movie playing in your head? That doesn't make any sense. Like,
wait, you just have a camera? There's a camera in your eyes?
What I always imagined a photographic memory is just an actual working human mind.
So, like, when you go to bed at night, Chris, and you, like, close your eyes, can you just, like, fucking chill on a beach? Like you're there, like, VR?
I mean, if I want to, it doesn't feel like I'm on a beach, but I can picture a beach.
The biggest one that I heard that really blew my mind was people talked about, like, when people talk about counting sheep to fall asleep, they actually, like, visualize sheep and count them.
So what do you do when you try to count sheep?
I didn't, because it didn't work, because I couldn't do it. Because, like, it was just counting and pretending that I was counting sheep, not arbitrary numbers.
Yeah, I just thought counting was boring, so you fell asleep. I didn't think you could, like, actually fucking hypnotize yourself.
You just get 1, bat, 2, bat.
Right, exactly, yeah. Like, that's it. That's as far as it goes. So, that's the crazy thing I learned over the weekend that then scarred Marcus forever.
You know, I feel like this is why I can't draw. I feel like if I could see shit in my brain's eye, I could draw shit.
I've been making that excuse for myself, too, recently.
No, I can't draw either. That's not why.
Yeah, but that's just because you're untalented and bad at stuff.
Also that, yes.
Well, luckily, we do a podcast where drawing is not required, or any visual medium. So, let's go do that thing we do, which is answering questions. And our first question today is, what if all glass turned to Jello? Chris, you want to start us off?
Yes, this is a very fun situation. There's a lot of things that are glass, and I like Jello, so...
Chris is like, as a whole, the world has improved.
Yes, lots and lots of Jello.
Quick question before we get into this. Quick roundtable. Favorite color/flavor of Jello?
Red.
Raspberry, the dark red.
I like. Is there like a blue raspberry? Isn't there a blue raspberry too?
I never actually knew what fruit it was. I just know I like red.
I think it's whatever the blue one is very good. Anyway, I just figured we should get that out there because I know, that's an important part of this whole situation. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, I would tell you what my favorite color was, but I can't really picture it.
Heyo.
Heyo. Okay, so I wanted to look at a bunch of different things that were glass, and it wasn't the first thing that came to mind, but one of the big things that came to mind was aquariums. They have huge glass windows. So I wanted to see if they could actually support the glass if it was just Jello. And I started to look at the thickness of the glass, but then I learned that it's not actually glass. They actually use acrylic. So aquariums would be fine.
Actually, I also thought of aquariums. And as a whole, yes, the big tanks are acrylic based, but not all of them. So for the smaller tanks, they're most often glass because acrylic scratches easier. So, they'll get scratched and it's harder to see, especially when kids are all up against them. And specifically for us in Boston, the New England Aquarium, dead center in our aquarium, it was actually built around it, there's a 200,000 gallon, 3-story coral reef tank. And that tank is actually all glass.
Oh, that is glass. Okay, so our Boston aquarium would be in trouble.
It would be very much in trouble. They had to close when there was a little bit of a crack in it, back in 2001.
Yeah.
But now, you're going to have a couple other problems.
Yeah. The next thing I looked at was because I wear contacts, but I also have a pair of eyeglasses. So I wanted to look at eyeglasses. I just like picturing just like Jello in front of your eyes. It's funny to me.
Why is everything so red?
Well, I like picturing that one is red and one is blue, so you have Jello 3D glasses.
I mean, I like the idea that you're looking at the world through cherry-flavored glasses, personally, but...
But then I also realized that most modern glasses are also made with plastic, so nothing would change with glasses, too.
Are they all plastics now? I think some of them are glass, right?
I think some of them might be glass, but I think most of them are plastic.
I think the plastic's probably cheaper, so...
I mean, they're fucking called glasses, not plastics.
That's why. You can't say that.
Another thing I looked at was microwaves, because they have the clear see-through door thing, so you can look at your food, rotate, and cook. And if that turned to Jello, it would actually be fine, because what keeps the microwave, the actual waves in the microwave oven, is a wire mesh that's in the door. So even without the glass, the wire mesh, as long as the wire mesh is there, it would work.
Interesting.
So if you have a microwave with a Jello door with wire mesh, it'll work.
Does the microwave just melt Jello? What happens if you put a Jello cup in the microwave? Not that I don't think anyone...
It probably would melt, I guess.
I think it just liquefies, right?
Yeah.
It would.
Can Google tell me? Jello in microwave.
Probably. I'm sure they've microwaved everything. So
I think we had a long discussion about microwaving peeps at some point, so I'm sure they've done it to Jello too.
Oh, it's how you make Jello shots. So yeah, definitely.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't matter anyway because the door is acrylic. It's not glass.
Oh, well, damn you, plastic.
It's taken over everything. Yeah, so what actually is glass? Because I started to get tired of this plastic thing. Obviously, windows are.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you that windows are plastic. Windshields. So windshields are actually most of them have 2 panes of glass and there's a sheet of plastic in the middle so it doesn't shatter. So if the windshield turned to Jello, I think the plastic would probably hold the form of the Jello, at least if you're going slow. I don't know how it would handle higher wind speeds. Probably not well.
Probably not great. So maybe don't go on a plane,
Yeah, and don't use your windshield wipers. You'll just wipe off the Jello.
Oh, yeah.
So, obviously, drinking glasses and bottles, those turn to Jello, and then you get cool flavored drinks. That'll be cool.
I don't think those would hold up.
It probably would not hold up.
I mean, they have Jello shot glasses. That's a thing. So, it would hold up for a little bit. I mean, obviously...
Do you have to, do something to it to make it stay?
Maybe chill it.
Probably chill it.
Yeah, chill it. It won't dissolve as fast.
I feel like a vending machine would be a very big issue.
Yeah, probably.
I guess they don't have glass bottles, but, you get the idea. Just like a rack at 7-Eleven with glass bottles would just be like, or oh god, like a liquor store. It's just not good.
Oh.
Don't go there.
Yeah.
It's all Jello shots all the way down.
And then one thing that's everywhere are light bulbs. Light bulbs have glass. So an incandescent light bulb, they used to be like a vacuum inside so that the filament doesn't burn out. But they don't do that anymore. Now they use argon, which is like an inert gas that helps do that. So I think with the vacuum, you'd have like a pressure problem with the Jello and it'd probably crush or something. But with the argon, it would be fine.
Well, actually, fun fact about not incandescent but fluorescent light bulbs, nice twisty ones, is they are not filled with argon or vacuum. They are filled with mercury gas. So you get a nice little toxic poof when your now Jello light collapses onto the floor.
Yeah. So if the glass and the light bulbs turn to Jello actually has a melting temperature of around 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So they'd probably melt. I think incandescent light bulbs, they get up to like 400 to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. And LED light bulbs get up to like 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So no matter what, they're probably going to melt.
Yeah, that's no fun.
So if you go to like a place with a lot of light bulbs, I don't know, like Vegas or something.
Or like a Home Depot.
It's not going to be a fun time. Oh, and Christmas lights, that would be bad too.
Yeah.
If this happens during Christmas, then a lot of Jello everywhere.
You probably wouldn't even notice on the Christmas lights because they're all sorts of colors anyway.
Yeah.
Flavored Christmas lights.
I would never think to eat my Christmas lights.
Well, I know my girlfriend Sarah's parents' cat likes to chew on the light bulbs on the
I was
Christmas
going to
tree.
say, yeah, you already have a problem with edible or attempted to be edible Christmas lights.
You were talking about eating Christmas lights, and you said my girlfriend's parents' cat. Okay.
We got back there.
Yeah, we got there. I had to make sure I got the exact sequence of people that connect me to this cat.
Yeah.
Right.
That eats Christmas lights. So if they were just flavored Jello, like that would be totally fine for that cat. We could just eat all the lights up.
Yeah, it'd be great for cats. Another piece of technology that would be affected are screens, like your cell phone screen or like TV screens, computer screens. I don't know exactly how that would work. Like, would a screen still work with Jello? I'm not sure.
I'm gonna guess no, because most of them.
No, I'm gonna say that the screen just like it's gotta fry the electronics because the glass is conductive and now it's not conductive and now
Well,
it's
is Jello conductive? I don't know.
I'd imagine so.
Jello is sugar plus water. It is not good for electronics.
And also, like, you're gonna get the same, enough heat situation where it's gonna melt and just melt on down in there.
Okay. And then fiber optics, that uses glass. So all the like Verizon Fios, all the optic cables, they're turned to Jello.
I, spoiler alert, went pretty deep on fiber optics, so we can save that one.
Yeah, I have that. I also have that one on my list. I think I googled things you wouldn't expect glass to be in, and that was one of them.
And all of us expected it.
Well, I will say that just for both of you, I drastically overthought the fiber optic problem, so you can kind of.
I went very surface level. As in, I saw that they existed.
Right. Yeah, I think you've named every single thing of glass that I thought would turn to Jello.
I have one more, and that is fiberglass insulation. So, yeah, like all of our walls that are insulated would turn to Jello.
Ooh, I didn't think about that one. That's not great.
I thought about that one a little bit, and I was actually wondering, since it's sort of like spun glass, basically, would it basically be like cotton candy?
Oh.
If it was converted Jello, right?
I guess so. It'd just be, yeah.
Because it's just going to be like really like fine, or it could just like all slop down like a pile of Jello, which is also possible. I'm not sure how
That'd be
it
cool
would go.
if it was cotton candy.
If it was cotton candy, that'd be pretty great.
I had one side thing, just because it was a funny image. Like, what if you had a glass eye?
No, God, no. Chris, you're fucking done.
Have a Jello
you're fucking
eye?
done with this.
Okay, yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah, so I'm going to cover a lot of the same stuff, but I kind of took it through the lens of, as we do, waking up that first morning. It sucks. It's just, spoiler warning, it sucks. So, first off, I wear my watch when I sleep. So, literally 1 minute into waking up, like, I have my arm under my head, I move it, feels weird, and then it's like, oh, it's sticky, and I already know I gotta change my sheets. Like, I haven't even woken up completely, and I already know I gotta do laundry.
Right.
So, I stumble out of bed, I, like, reach towards my nightstand, go to grab my glasses. Nope, no glasses. Hand goes right through. I look around, I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And I go to see what time it is. My alarm clock screen is Jello. Broken. Alarm has not gone off. So I have no idea what the fucking time it is. Go grab my phone, check the time there. Also, my phone is all Jello, all broken. So all of the 3 things I use to keep time, I do not know what time it is.
You'd think you'd pick up on the Jello thing, like, right away with the smell of everything in your room is Jello.
Well, this is like, you remember, you're waking up, like, you wake up first thing in the morning. It takes, like, a good minute before you're actually, like, conscious.
I did not think about the smell of this situation, and now I think I'm a little bit nauseous. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so, like, I'm thinking, like, Jello, especially, like, in the thinness of a lot of glasses, is not gonna hold its shape. It's basically just gonna be puddles everywhere of Jello.
Right.
So, like, my nightstand, glasses puddle, lamp puddle, phone puddle, alarm clock screen puddle, and sometimes I have a glass of water there. That's going to be also adding to the wonderful mess that's on my nightstand. And so I get up, already a defeated man, and I'm like, why is it so cold in here? Look around, all my windows turned to Jello, fallen down. There's now just a sizable Jello puddle underneath each of my bedroom windows that I'm like, well, now I gotta clean my rug too. And everything's just a bit blurry because I don't got my glasses. I still don't know what time it is. And so I step into the rest of my apartment, and I think the worst room is definitely going to be your kitchen.
Yeah.
What kind of glass stuff do I have in my kitchen other than glass?
Yeah, so, of course, your glasses.
Yeah.
Not glass. Your
Drinking
glasses. Your drinking glasses. That whole cabinet is now oozing, in mine, the dark red, delicious Jello. Your cabinet, your pantry, anything that was in a glass jar, like, you know, jams and pickles and nasty stuff.
Salsa. Queso.
Yep, salsa and queso are gonna be just around in a Jello mixture. A lot of fridge shelves, mine are glass. So my whole fridge has collapsed and is now leaking Jello onto the floor. My microwave door, my oven door, everywhere there's an overhead light, there is a small puddle of Jello on the floor directly beneath it. And so you spend probably your whole morning, you don't know, there's no fucking working time measurements anymore. You spend your morning cleaning up all the Jello, and finally you're like, all right, I gotta get to fucking work. And you go outside, you go to your car, and as you said, cars got windows too.
I mean, at this point, you'd think you'd expect it.
Right, you shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, like maybe you figure it out, but like, I don't know if I would click those gears in my head, like going out into the outside world, like that my car was gonna be affected. I feel like it's gonna be another slap in the face. So, not only does your car not have windows, like, you can probably get like some plastic goggles, maybe you got some goggles around that you could use instead of the windshield. But also your mirrors are gone, because mirrors are made of glass, so it's going to be unsafe driving. It's not like the public transportation's really going to be up and running. You could ride a bike. A bike doesn't have too many glass pieces. 0, really. And, yeah, and then you can make it off to your day at work. And I guess depending on what job you have, your day could be better or worse, depending.
What if you're a glass maker? A glass blower?
Yeah, if you're a glass maker, you're now a Jello factory. I wonder what happens to Jello in a glass kiln.
Nothing good.
What does Jello do at 5,000 degrees?
Probably, like, evaporates.
I guess you're just cooking sugar at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, I guess like just like all the water comes out, and it's just
It probably
sugar.
smell very good.
I feel like it would smell very good for like a very brief amount of time, and it would smell quite bad actually.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know if the smell of burning sugar is good for anybody. Yeah, a couple other jobs that I thought of. Obviously, the aquarium worker, not gonna have a good day with all the fish on the floor. Also, probably a lot of them dead. And really, if you walk in as an aquarium guy and there's like a shark like in the hallway, even if it's like looks pretty dry, are you gonna go get it? Like, are you gonna touch it? Like, how long does the shark have to be in a hallway still before I go and touch it? A long time.
It's also probably surrounded by like some sort of red gelatinous stuff, and you think it's Jello just from the way your morning's gone, but you're not sure.
Yeah, you're really not sure. If you work at a beer bottling plant, it's gonna be very sad. Like, not only is your whole machine destroyed, but also there's a lot of beer wasted, just like everywhere.
I mean, a lot of these things that you're listing, you're assuming this happened overnight and there's time for the Jello to get gross. But if it happened during the day, when you were awake, then all this would be awesome for a little bit.
No.
You'd have so much Jello to eat.
Would you eat floor Jello, though? Because that's what you're going to have to eat is floor Jello, because all the Jello is just going to fall onto the floor.
You're talking about, like, beer companies. You could drink beer out of a Jello bottle.
But you can't, because the water pressure in the thing is going to just destroy the bottle.
Well, it doesn't have to be beer. You're going to be, I don't know, water.
Any liquid. It's not because it's beer, it's just because it's...
I told you that Jello shot glasses, they exist. That's a thing, and it can hold liquid.
Yeah, and they're very thick and tiny. They're very thick and tiny, so they can hold liquid. They are not thin like a glass bottle is.
I think I'm going to side with Marcus on this one. It's going to be a bad situation.
And the last one I have listed here for bad jobs is, if you work in a laboratory with all those beakers and tubes and test tubes and, smoky bits going back and forth and all these nice dangerous chemicals, I don't know if those all just want to either, mix with Jello or be on the floor together. Probably not super great.
Yeah, it doesn't seem great.
So you struggle through your day at work, hop into your, now sort of convertible car, like convertible in the worst way, in that it converted from a functioning car to like a real shitty car.
Convertible implies that you can convert it back.
Yeah, a real shitty car that also is super sticky in lots of places. And you get home, and there's probably going to be a bit of a buzzing sound, because do you know what animal can really live exclusively off of sugar water?
Bees?
And is also very plentiful?
Bees?
Bees. There's going to be a whole lot of bees. Now, this might not happen right away. Obviously, the bees need time to increase their numbers. But, bees do that pretty quickly, and Jello doesn't really, go away. It's just going to kind of sit there for a while. And so I looked it up, and I kind of had to work backwards from how much honey production is, and then work my way backwards to how many bees all this Jello could support. So it takes 556 bees to make a pound of honey.
That's a lot of bees.
Yeah, so there's 12 pounds of honey in a gallon, and it takes 8 gallons of water for bees to make a gallon of honey. So basically, for each gallon of water, or in our case, Jello, is enough to support 834 bees. Your average window, 3x5, with 3/4 inch thick glass, would transform into about 7 gallons of Jello.
Oh, God.
So each window of your house is going to be able to support 5,800 bees. And yeah, they're not going to be coming right away, but they're just going to not stop. They're going to be at maximum bee increasing for a while.
This is assuming that once this Jello thing happens, nobody makes any effort to clean it up at all.
Right, you can work on cleaning it up, but again, it's just a sticky mess on the floor, and it's everywhere. My apartment, my window, it's going to be half inside, so it's going to be up to each individual person to clean up their Jello. And half outside, beneath my window, where no government municipality is going to be able to clean that up.
It will be a lot of Jello, I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough day. And I think my closing remark on glass was, when I was doing my researching, Douglas Main had wrote an article in The Atlantic about how glass was the best invention in all of human era, blah, blah, blah. And it got really, really dramatic. So I just wanted to share his closing remarks, because it just turned buck wild by the end of it. The next time you find yourself before glass of one sort or another, consider how strange it is that this material, born of earth and fire, frozen like the rind of ice on a pond, trapped in atomic purgatory, has facilitated so much human activity and progress. Really see it, instead of just looking through. Without it, there are so many truths we could not see.
Because it turned to Jello.
Because it turned to Jello. But Douglas, calm down. It's just glass.
He's very passionate about glass. Don't knock him for his hobby.
He is worryingly passionate about glass. So, Ben, what do you have for the glass Jello question?
Right. So as I mentioned, I very quickly thought of fiber optic cabling, because I just thought that was going to get pretty exciting pretty quickly. Because, yeah, so it technically can be made out of plastic, but most of the time it's glass. I couldn't get a good firm number on what percentage or whatever, but
I think glass is better than plastic.
It is, yeah. So for the most part, definitely the equivalent of highways for our fiber optic networks are definitely glass.
Yeah, I know specifically the ones under the ocean are fiber optic.
Yes, yeah, those are 100% fiber optic.
I think the plastic ones are mainly short range.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was seeing. But so you might have some internal networks that still kind of work, but for the most part, we'll get to the consequences. But sort of just quickly, the way that fiber optic cable works, this is actually kind of cool. Basically, there's two there's a core and then a cladding that surrounds the core that are both glass, and the core has effectively a higher density to light. They call it the refractive index. So because the refractive index is higher in the core, when it hits the lower density glass, that's the cladding, it won't pass through it, and instead reflects and stays all inside the core, which is what they call total internal reflection, which is kind of why it works, because none of the light can leak out. So basically what that index shows is just how fast light moves through it. So the fiber, like the fiber that's in the core of one of these cables, it has an index of like 1.4475. It's like doped silica. I couldn't get... So basically, the basic idea is that the way you get that number is it's the speed of light in a vacuum divided by the speed of light in that medium. So where the speed of light in general is what, like 300,000 kilometers a second?
I have no idea.
Sure, I think that's it. It's like 200...
3 times 10 to the 8th kilometers per second is the number.
It's C.
Yeah, that's the letter, not the number.
Yeah, that's...
Go watch some fucking Sesame Street, Chris.
Listen to the count. Optical fiber, it's like 207,000 kilometers a second. So like 2/3. So it turns out that... so apparently, a very popular like middle school science project is determining the refraction index of Jello. But in spite of that, I couldn't actually find hard numbers for it. All I could find were a bunch of like middle schoolers' reports on what they found it to be.
So what, do you just average them?
So it seemed like it was about like 1.3 to 1.4 most of the time. Which, yes, that means that light actually moves faster through Jello than the glass they use in fiber optic cables.
More efficient.
So, technically, if it all turned to Jello, the communication would actually be faster than when it was glass.
So there's gonna be a small problem.
There are a couple of small problems.
Well, you can stop me if you heard about this one. So one fun fact I learned about the fiber optic cables in the ocean is that sharks like to bite them.
I did not hear that, but that's hilarious.
So they suspect it might be because of like the electromagnetic waves coming out of it, because sharks are sensitive to those. And how much more are sharks going to want to bite them if they're full of delicious, delicious Jello?
It's like a jelly donut. That's great.
Except when you bite into it, the internet goes away.
Right.
For everyone.
The other fun thing I realized is that, so I was thinking that there's no way that you could actually like use Jello as a fiber optic cable at all. Fun fact. Turns out you actually can.
Oh.
So if you just line up Jello like on a table and shine a laser through it, it will get total internal reflection because the refraction index of the Jello is higher than that of air. So the light will carry all the way through just the Jello.
What?
Awesome.
So this is where I'm thinking, wait a minute, hold on. Could we actually just be using Jello this whole time? But the problem is it actually would not work. And I was very sad because it goes back to that cladding that surrounds the core, because you need those two different densities of glass, because otherwise you don't have the lower on the outside, and it's just all going to be Jello in there inside whatever insulation is around it, so it won't actually work.
What if there are differently dense Jellos?
Yeah, what if you have Jello and Jello shots, like Jello mixed with vodka? That's got to be slightly different densities.
I mean, you can like add additives to make it less dense.
I think it's just all going to mix together, though, guys. I'm sorry. I tried to make it work. Also, the other kind of issue that I ran into was that a lot of times the cables have multiple fibers inside of them. And those are all just going to meld into one giant Jello fiber, and that's not going to work very well. So the Jello internet and, telephone and TV dream unfortunately died. But it lasted longer than I expected it to.
We're not entering the Jello age.
Yeah.
I definitely can relate to moments in the show where you're like, oh, let me just explore this stupid idea for 2 minutes. And then you're like, 5 Wikipedia articles in, and you're like, wait, this could actually work?
But no. The other thing I looked into that was really fun, because I know you brought up fiberglass insulation.
Yeah.
In general, fiberglass is actually used for a lot of things. And in particular, the one that I saw that was going to be kind of concerning was fiberglass is heavily used in the construction of airplanes because it is very strong and light. And like the bodies of, say, a 747 are going to be like aluminum or something. But a lot of like the internal structure is going to be fiberglass. And I don't know about you, but I really do not want to fly in a plane where suddenly all of that internal structure is now like 40% Jello.
So fiberglass is like a mix of plastic and glass, right?
Yeah, so it's basically the idea is that you have like long strands of glass that you like interweave over each other and then put like suspend in like some kind of, plastic. So the glass serves as a support to make it stronger than the plastic would be on its own.
So what would it even be? It would be plastic, but
I think it would just be like
Jello would be.
It would just be like really brittle plastic because it's
no longer supported by the glass.
Yeah, it just has a bunch of holes in it that are full of Jello, which I don't think has much structural integrity from my experience with Jello.
Although I did get a mental image when you're talking about the insides of the plane being all Jello, because I think I would fly in an airplane that was like, I imagine just like this aluminum tube on the outside and then just like a 2-foot puddle of Jello on the inside.
Right.
And you kind of just have a Jello pool party like for your entire flight.
I got a mental image. You didn't get a mental image.
Shut up!
Stop rubbing it in.
I can still think thoughts.
So that was kind of the main things I looked at were there. Unfortunately, there was not a whole lot else cool with fiberglass. That was probably the biggest impact. There's some other like construction stuff, and you already mentioned insulation, but there wasn't too much else that was like super exciting. But I was very surprised at how close we came to having Jello fiber optic.
I like that you had trouble finding like properties of the gel, like the tests on the refraction of it, because that's like one of the reasons why I did like surface level stuff, because I was just like, nobody does tests on Jello. Nobody cares about Jello.
Apparently lots of people do, but they're mostly like 12. And not good at making like scientific reports, guys. Sorry, poor work today.
Oh, we did that. We naturally ended.
We did.
But I didn't get a chance to do a segue.
You did not.
I expected you to jump in with some sort of segue.
I really thought you were just gonna go right into it. All right, well, do it now.
Hey, fuck. Sponsors? Jello? How about Jello sponsors? What if our sponsor were made of Jello? This is what it would sound like. But this is what it does sound like because they're not actually made of Jello.
Yeah. Nailed it.
You've just spilled the last of your milk, but going out to get more can be such a hassle. No need to cry over it. Luckily, we here at Uter are bringing back the age-old tradition of fresh milk delivered straight to your door. Just open up the Uter app and we'll connect you to our nearest milkman, who will lead their personal cow to your home so you can get grade A milk straight from the source. Our cows have been genetically modified to have udders that can produce whole milk, 1%, 2%, or even skim milk, so you can have your favorites at the touch of a button and the squeeze of a teat. Uter, the udder way to get milk.
Coming soon to a theater near you. In Revenge, they got revenge. In Revenge 2, the other people got revenge back. And just when you thought it was over, in Revenge 3, the original people got revenge on the people that had gotten revenge on them in the previous movie. But now, learn where it all began. Witness the event that started it all. Uncover the origins of the infamous feud in Prevenge, The Reckoning. Critics are raving. This is what prequels are meant to be. The greatest origin story of all time. Brutal, yet satisfying. Prevenge, The Reckoning. For tickets and showtimes, check your local listings. Rated PG for mild cartoon violence.
Hey, Ben here. I know that we have a lot of fun on this show, but today I wanted to bring to your attention a very serious condition called constant lack of successful estimation, or close. Those affected by close go through life without the ability to correctly estimate numbers or sizes. This condition affects, like, 30 people, maybe? Probably more than that, actually. Like a few thousand? A lot? Let's just say a lot. With your help, we can provide sufferers of close with essential tools like calculators and those little clicky things that bouncers use to count how many people have gone into a bar. We've already collected, well, not enough money. So please make a donation today and help us close the door on close once and for all.
Alright, welcome back. We're going to dive right into the second question, and that question is, what if everyone stopped working for a whole week? Ben, start us off.
All right, so one of the first things I kind of realized about this prompt is that, like, your first thought was like, oh, that's awesome, it's just like a week vacation. But you can't really do anything, right?
Because everyone's on vacation.
Everyone's on vacation, like, everything's closed. Like, you can loot, that's kind of it. That's your leisure activities.
I'm
looting.
bored. I'm gonna loot.
I mean, like, what else are you gonna do?
See, it's funny. I was thinking about like, you know, there's no police officers. All this law enforcement is gone. But it's not like it's legal now.
Yeah.
The judges and police are gonna be back to work on Monday. Right. And video cameras are a thing that exists.
So yeah, you can't just go around like killing people because
well, not where there's any cameras.
Right. Well, I mean, I think in general, there's still going to be like evidence and stuff that it will pick up eventually.
Yeah, if you're gonna do a crime anyway, this would be the week. But don't do crimes that you wouldn't have done otherwise.
Hilariously, actually, slight callback. I did realize you could not steal the Declaration of Independence during this time because it's down in that vault, which you would know if you listened to our 4th of July episode. And that will not be able to be brought up. So it is very safe right now.
You'd be able to get there, though, to the vault.
You could get there. You could get to the vault, but no further.
And you'd have Nicolas Cage for like a whole week because he's got no other plans. He's not working.
He's not working. I mean, what's he doing now? What movies does he do?
That's a really good question. Anyway, so I mean, it's actually not as cool as it seems because they're kind of just be like hanging out. So I started to go through some sort of like disaster scenario sort of things, but like one of the first things I realized was that I thought about like nuclear plants. Are they going to like melt down? But it turns out apparently nuclear plants, they have so many fail safes, for some reason. I mean, they're just going to shut themselves down before anything bad actually happens. And that probably wouldn't actually happen in a week. So they're probably going to be pretty fine. Except
a week isn't very long.
A week is not very long. The one issue we're going to run into with power, though, that I found out, sort of segueing from that nuclear plant possibility, is that in like a coal burning power plant, they, it seems, can only go about 2 to 4 hours generally at best without like some kind of manual intervention to like load more coal.
Yeah, I was surprised to learn that they actually have like just trucks like shoveling fucking coal onto a conveyor belt, like a choo-choo train. And I guess that's really that's the sign to me that it's an outdated technology.
But the problem we run into is that coal makes up about 30% of this country's power generation. Natural gas is a similar story to coal. Both in, it's also about 30% and sort of similar, like, need manual intervention because it's super dangerous situation. So once those plants start shutting down, which will happen probably within the first day, what's going to happen is as they shut down, it's going to increase the draw on other power plants that wouldn't necessarily be affected. And their emergency fail-safes to stop them from working over capacity will make them shut down too. And you're just going to have a rolling blackout that goes across the entire country.
So no power. No power
after, like the first half day or so.
Man, everything's just going to be really boring.
Well, maybe not super boring because of a couple other things that I realized. There's going to be some excitement, just maybe not the kind you want, particularly from a couple of things that I found. So, one of the first ones I found that was kind of fun. Sewage treatment plants are a bit of a problem.
Yeah, we gotta talk about the poop problem.
Yeah, we actually do have a poop problem this week. A very real poop problem. Quick side note, sewage treatment plants actually very cool, it turns out. They're basically just like a microbiological ecosystem that just processes stuff. That's really cool.
Assuming there's power.
Well, yeah. So you can't stop the inflow because if you stopped the inflow, the pressure would just make toilets and streets overflow with raw sewage, which is not good. So, like, I saw a thing where somehow something got dumped into the water supply and it killed off like all of the biological stuff that like actually processes things. And they had to just, like, dump out, like, ammonia and raw sewage into the river because it was worse to not do that. So, sewage, kind of an issue.
Thought you were going fishing on your week off, huh? How about you're really up Schitt's Creek now.
A couple other places that I saw that were going to wind up having some pretty severe issues, mostly because of this whole, power thing. So, a combination of lack of manpower and lack of literal power. It's going to be a pretty bad situation in hospitals.
Yeah, that one's a little sad.
Can we skip that one? From that.
Can we skip that one? We accept that that's going to be bad for very sick people.
Yeah, we're just going to say it's bad and move on because yeah, it's not fun. Other one that's also pretty not fun. Prisons. Power, pretty important to prisons.
Yeah, I guess you really have just two options. Either it's on lockdown or it's not.
And so the problem we have too is that like all of the security systems require power. So even if it's not like either you're stuck in your cells and then that's not a good look, or they're not and they can just kind of escape because there's no guards and also no like cameras or anything. And also just a fun little wrinkle on top of that is that prisons are heavily reliant on powered ventilation systems. So the oxygen levels are actually going to start dropping pretty quickly, apparently. And the temperatures are going to start rising. And that's a bad thing. So maybe it's kind of a good thing they can get out. Because otherwise they're probably going to die. So I'm sorry I always bring such depressing situations to the table on this podcast. It's apparently just what I do.
Yeah, well, at least it wasn't, at least you stopped on the hospitals and you weren't just like, well, the ventilation, hospitals rely on a ventilation system.
Right, yeah, I try to just ignore that part because that one's also sad.
I actually also looked at the prison thing, but assuming that the power didn't go off, and basically just assuming that everyone is in their cells and that, like, the guards would just walk away, and everyone would die of dehydration instead.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but I realized it was not going to probably be a factor long enough to get there.
Well, I think humans can live, like, tops a week, I think.
3, 3,
I think it's a week, yeah.
I think it's like,
No, it's
3 days for water, 3 weeks for food.
3 minutes without air, 3 days without food, without water, and 3 weeks without food.
So it's 3 days. See, they would die after 3 days.
There's toilets. They're probably still dead. But yeah, it's not fun. So, sorry, prisoners.
Actually, you could make it with a toilet's worth of water. You have to poop in the corner, but you could do it.
All that I know about prisons is what I see in movies, and do they have, like, just normal toilets?
I don't think they're straight normal toilets. I'm not sure, though.
They have the toilets that are insecurely fastened to the wall, so you can make an epic escape in a movie.
Exactly. But yeah, so those are the main things I kind of looked at. Once I realized the power thing, things kind of just cascade from there, and it becomes pretty much just like this is basically a post-apocalypse at this point. Pretty bad.
Like a zombie movie.
We should not take a week national/world vacation.
Okay, let's all agree not to do this.
Yeah, we'll work on a schedule.
Well, how about you two agree not to do it? Well, we gotta see how the other side is to know that we shouldn't. So you guys work for a week. I will take a week off, and then we'll compare notes at the end.
I don't like this plan.
Yeah, I don't agree with this.
Well, I guess one of you two could join me, but we need someone in the control group.
Dibs.
Damn it.
Sorry,
well, shit. All right. Guess I walked into that one. So that's kind of what I had. Chris, what did you look into for this one?
At first, I kind of assumed that, like, this would happen right away and that, like, everyone agrees that they stop working on this one day. But that was like, that's probably not how this is actually going to happen. I think the more entertaining way I think this is going to happen is if everyone just thinks they're taking a vacation, like a week-long vacation, they just happen to all take it on the same day.
Oh my.
That is way better.
They don't really realize what's going on until they, like, try to do stuff. So they, like, go to the grocery store and they realize that nobody's working there. There are people there still trying to shop, and, like, lines start to build up and stuff, but nobody wants to, like, steal anything because they think they're still stealing. They're going to break the law, and, like, they're going to get in trouble.
Also, how funny would it be, like, you're, like, walking, like, to your local grocery store, and, like, your boss who lives nearby also, like, is walking out on the street, and, like, you see each other, and you're just, like, you both just run in the opposite direction. Like, no, I'm not here. I'm sick. I'm deathly ill.
I mean, he can't get mad at you because he's not on his job.
Exactly.
Yeah, no one can be mad at each other after the week, but you don't know that. Like, you're just like, oh, I'm fucked.
And then you guys kind of assumed that, like, people wouldn't break the law just because there are still consequences after the week are over and you can still get in trouble. And I thought about that too at first, but then I was like, let's look at Black Friday and what people do on Black Friday. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's definitely got to be some low-hanging fruit. Like, I think if you're in that week, there's probably some crimes that you would do. Like, is that what you're about to get into, Chris, or should we try and think of some?
Well, I figured that just, like, the people will go crazy because this is, like, Black Friday on steroids.
Well, also, like, once the power goes, I feel like things get a little more rambunctious because then the cameras do stop working and stuff.
Then it's very clear that like, something's going on.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a weird reverse ghost town where, like, there's going to be lots of people around, but nobody's going to be doing anything.
I like the idea that, like, you're in a store and you don't want to steal anything, but you still want to, like, buy the stuff, and you, like, nobody wants to just walk out, so you just, like, politely sidestep out. And eventually someone will do it, and then it'll, like, start a chain, and then other people will start doing it. And I think it's just going to, like, as the days pass, it's going to keep on growing and growing. People are going to get more comfortable doing different things. And eventually, it's going to get, like, to a crazy level.
Full purge?
Yeah, it's going to be the purge, basically.
Yeah.
I think at least by day 5, it'll be the purge.
It's really funny you say that, because in doing the research for this question, it's kind of hard to find information about, like, what if this guy didn't show up for work all week, because, like, there's just no one has written about it.
Because why would you?
But except under the pretense of zombie apocalypses or, like, all humans disappearing. So that's, like, where I found, like, a bunch of information. So you saying it actually going to turn into a zombie apocalypse really verifies, like, validates my research.
I mean, I think that's the most realistic outcome. Yeah, so once it turns into the purge, you don't want to go outside. You're just going to want to stay in your house. So the first 5 days, you're going to want to, like, collect stuff just so you can survive the last 2 days. I guess you want food. You're going to want, like, stuff to board up your house. Like, you want to board up your windows. You want to lock your doors, stuff like that. You might want some weapons, just in case.
Well, yeah, or just for fun.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's going to stop you from taking it, so you just take it. Yeah, and then, I don't know if you guys have seen The Purge, but I haven't, but...
This is going to be a good conversation. Have you guys seen The Purge? I haven't either. Let's talk about it.
I mean, I know everything about it because I read the Wikipedia page.
Perfect.
So The Purge only lasts 12 hours, which is not very long. But a 2-day long purge is going to go crazy. That's like...
4 purges.
Yeah, it's more purges. More people are going to die. Yeah, so you're basically just going to want to go into survival mode.
You would think after doing all these, like, apocalyptic scenarios that generate, we would have a better, like, apocalypse plan. But every time I'm like, okay, so the apocalypse is happening outside, so what do? I don't know, I guess you get food, board up your windows, the shit you see in the movies. We should have a plan, guys.
Well, no, because our answer is always, let's just assume that everyone doesn't die.
We should probably have a plan, like, for this apocalypse happening.
Yeah, we should.
I'll take that on as homework next time I have to fucking... fix the world again.
Maybe you could set up, like, Home Alone style traps.
Ooh, I like that. Like, not only are you gonna get them, you're gonna get them comically.
Yeah. You, like, set up a can of paint or something, and let it swing on a string, and hit the guy when he opens the door.
Yeah.
You can do that. You can set up, like, pretty sure he tar and feathered them, right?
Yeah, I mean, at least it wasn't drawn and quartered.
You can, like, set up a can of tar on top of, like, the door thing, and have it, like, half a jar, and then when they open the door fully, it falls on them.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, this is sticky. And then you shoot them with your gun that you bought at the store. Yeah, so I think that's the way you do it, is you slightly inconvenience them Home Alone style, and then you shoot them.
I like it. So that's basically what I have. What about you, Marcus?
Yeah, so I was thinking, what would you do in this week off? And really, this is the only time where everyone you know is going to be free and have nothing to do. So people are going to fucking party, is where I think is going to happen. There's going to be some kick-ass parties.
I like this direction better.
This is nice. This is a good way to finish out this question.
So the first question is, will there be any people that show up at your party? So the first thing I thought of is gas stations. Like, you have to get to the party with your car. So, do gas stations have enough gas on hand to service all the cars that you need? Because I know they get refills pretty often, and obviously people need to be working to do that, but otherwise, a lot of them are self-serve. So, I was looking at Massachusetts as my baseline. So, an individual gas station has on average 30,000 gallons of fuel on hand. So, average car needs about 15 gallons of gas depending on your size. So, you can get 2,000 cars per gas station.
That's plenty. It's a 2,000 person party. Or a car can hold like 5 people, right?
Yeah. So 2,000 cars per gas station. In Massachusetts, for example, there's 2,000 gas stations for 7 million people. So you can actually get like 4 million of the 7 million people can go get gas. And a lot of people are just going to have a week's worth of gas anyway, just because they happen to fill up on Sunday. So people are going to be at your party. Are they going to actually find their way there? I was thinking, is GPS going to work? And the answer is yes and no. So, day 1 is totally fine. But by the week's end, you might be having troubles because GPS satellites get regular updates from ground facilities to correct their course and get, calibrated. That's the word I'm looking for. And that process actually kind of starts going pretty quick. So, by like day 5 or 6, you might be having some GPS problems. But at that time, you've already partied for 5 or 6 days. Maybe you just want to fucking stay home. So, there will be people at the party.
And by then, they will hopefully know where you live if they've partied with you in the beginning of the week.
Right.
Yeah. Second question, will there be alcohol? That's the easy one. Yes, people just have fucking stacked liquor cabinets. Like, the average house that I can think of has, in an emergency, enough liquor to fucking get 1 million people swifty. Next question. Will there be music? So yeah, here's where I encountered the power problem. So, you'll have acoustic music, you're gonna have to use some acoustic instruments. The power grid is gonna be down, basically in a matter of hours.
Get battery-powered stuff.
So, you're gonna have to do some sing-alongs, people are actually gonna have to sing loudly and, play real instruments that don't plug in. But you can get there. Maybe get a generator and just do it that way. You could also, set up a couple speakers. So, you're gonna have music, you're gonna have people, there's gonna be booze. Is there gonna be food? So, this one's a little trickier. Again, day 1, no problem. Like, people have some food stocked. So I didn't have people going and raiding the malls and the stores and everything. So day 5 to 6 of partying is where the food problem kind of gets a little iffy. On the other hand, a new food source opens up. because the power grid is down, electrical fences at farms would be down. So across the world, there has now been released 1.5 billion cows, 1 billion pigs, and 20 billion chickens into the wild.
I like this direction more than what I thought you were going to go like the cannibalism.
No!
Right.
That's what I thought you were leading into.
Let's turn this party into a Donner party.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Ben, please. It took that stupid joke like a second to like make a lap around my brain before it hit me.
That's the best kind of joke. The delayed impact one.
So your party might turn into like a half hunting party, but you're gonna get some sweet fresh barbecue going.
It's gonna be fresh too.
Yeah.
Real fresh.
So that's gonna be awesome. And then the last question is, will there be bathrooms at your party? So here's my take on it. It depends where your party is. So obviously the treatment plant is not going to be functioning as intended. For example, the city of Boston, there's going to be overflow from the treatment plant pretty quickly to the tune of about 400 million gallons per day. So that's a lot of wastewater pumping up by Deer Island. The thing is, plumbing otherwise usually is gravity-based. So, like, if your toilet doesn't have power, you can just dump a bucket of water in and the gravity will take care of it. So there's definitely a poop problem, but it's not necessarily your poop problem.
Give it to someone else.
So, really, I think you're going to have a banging party. Like, you got the food, you got the booze, you got the bathrooms, you got the music, you got the people.
You got the cannibals.
No cannibals. This is a party. People are enjoying themselves.
Just themselves. They're not enjoying other people. That's what cannibals do.
That's the key.
Oh, I was going to say you can't Snapchat about it because your phone is Jello, but that's the previous question.
I was thinking the same thing when you were talking about beer.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, wait, they're Jello though.
I'm fucking losing. Episode 9 I already can't remember what hypothetical I'm tackling. I'm going to be like at work next week and it's going to be like, my boss can be like, oh, can you give this guy a call? I'm going to be like, nah, my phone's Jello. Yes, sir.
Are you on bath salts again, Marcus?
Wait, is salts? Yeah, salts still exists. Yeah, I can be on bath salts. Is there anything I'm missing on this party?
So you had music, food, booze, people.
Bonfire. I mean, you could easily make a fire, so that doesn't add to your answer.
It just makes the party better, which is where we're going.
You have a bonfire.
Oh, and you can drive home drunk because there's not going to be any police around, so you don't even have to worry about that.
So it's not dangerous anymore.
Yeah.
Yay.
Man, this is a really great day. I'm happy with this. I think this is totally enough to end the episode. Let's end on this high note before we fucking ruin it with realizing, like, oh, actually everyone would fucking die at the party. Alright, so for next week, we don't have 2 specific questions. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a lightning round, where we're going to answer a bunch of questions a little bit more off the cuff and go through them pretty quickly. So get hyped for that. I'm really excited to try it out and see how it goes. If you have any questions, comments, or your own hypothetical idea you want us to answer, let us know. You can reach us by email at absurdhypotheticals@gmail.com. Send us a tweet at absurdhype. That's HYPE hype. Visit our website, www.nerdchomp.com/absurdhypotheticals. And if you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. It really helps out the show and lets us keep making it for you.